All right, are we live, KC?
Oh, we alive, Ray. How you doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing well. You know, as well as could be. A lot of controversies in the world going on. Uh, you know, we're still in the Tucker sphere, wondering what the heck Tucker's going to do. Is he going to Twitter now, or
I
is he
guess
not?
so.
Well, I don't know. He's on
Yeah.
Twitter there. Elon Twitter said he doesn't have a contract with him.
Oh, he
Uh,
doesn't need one. He'll bring the attention.
And then we'll get on it a little bit later. We'll do a little border talk.
We're
Uh,
just we're just trying to survive down here in the southern United States. You know what I mean?
yeah, just I just got one good saying. We'll talk later, but uh, dogs don't poop in their own backyard. So that's and we're the backyard of Mexico and a lot of those countries that call themselves South America, Central America. You go overseas, KC. I was overseas in the military, and I was a young dude, and they're like, "Where you from?" And I'm like, "The United States." And they're like, "No shit." Where in the United States? I said, "Well, specifically, wherever I was at the time." And they were like, "Oh, okay, that's great." I said Rhode Island. They go, "Is that in New York?" And I'm like, "Close, real close." But so countries don't, they don't want you to say the United States of America. They like our money, they like a lot of things, but they don't like us, and they don't like saying it. And that's the same with all these people coming up from quote unquote South America. uh, you know they like us now, don't they? Huh?
Hmm.
you
Seems
know
so. They're dying to get in. I don't blame
they-
them though.
yeah, well, so anyways,
But let's talk about. We got an interesting article here about the quality of the food in the United States of America.
oh
And as I've done some of my travels overseas, especially in Europe, the food just tastes a little different over there, a little better. Um, and we get this article here from
yeah,
Stacker.com.
kind of a
Common
cool.
U.S. foods that are banned in other countries. These other countries won't even take our food, if you can believe it. We'll eat it, but they won't eat it.
Yeah, well, the genesis of this conversation is a couple shows ago, I was talking about Congress getting their butt and doing something, and I just, lightning bolt hit my head. I said, "Yes, I'd like, uh, ban fructose or something. Just go do something that'll help people." They do nothing in our in our Congress, except spend money, and poorly. They do that. I hear Trump talking about Congress spending money like a drunken sailor. And I was a drunken sailor when I was a kid, and they put drunken sailors to shame with spending.
Yeah.
Let me
So, based on your experience as a drunken sailor,
tell you. Hey, I, I talk the talk and I walk the talk. So I was going through the other day. I was at lunch. I turned my computer on. I was just looking for something, brain dead to see. So I went to YouTube, to those shorts. They always say, "You've seen those, Casey?"
of course.
Yeah, it's not the full length. Scotty Kilmer. I love him. He's a car enthusiast, and he's got some great YouTube shows. And he's on to the shorts now too. That's something we got to look at. And he just blurts these things out. So this lady came on, and she started talking about very, very pretty, beautiful lady. She's talking about all these foods that are banned overseas that we eat, and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Coca Cola is all over the world, and this and that. And everything. I said, "Let me check this out." So I let my fingers do the walking, and it's leading us to tonight. Lead us to this Stacker article that actually was linked on one of my news feeds talking
Mhm.
about foods that were banned. I was like, "What the?" So it was just too, it was like a come to Jesus moment that I've heard this stuff. We talked about fructose just out of the blue, and now here's this article. So I opened up Stacker, send it to you, and we're going to look at it. We're going to go through some of these things. And thank you to the good folks of Stacker.com. That's
Yeah.
Stacker.
They're doing the legwork for us, and I'm looking at this first, and I'm, as you know, Ray, I'm not a seafood guy, but
Ah,
farm raised salmon.
well, I love the concept of raising fish. I don't know why we don't do it more often. Tilapia, I guess, is raised
Hmm.
freshwater fish. But you know what? when I when I think about farmed fish, it just for some reason it just doesn't. It just doesn't sound good to me. I've got a friend at the he's a retired Navy SEAL. He was a captain, and I'm not going to throw his name out there, but very cool dude. And he's been doing some work with a professor at a very prestigious college in New England, and he's working on mercury in the fish. And it's unbelievable the amount of mercury in like striped bass and
Hmm.
different things and bottom feeders and I said, well, you know what, we should take like 1,000 striped bass and we should just farm them and then like breed the toxins out of them, the mercury and PCBs and everything, and then and move forward. And he gave me this look, like when you try to feed a kid an olive, and then their mouths, their faces move around, they pucker up and spit it out. He gave me that same look about farming
Hmm.
striped bass, and I get the same thing. I'm with him. So I'm reading this thing, and I go, well, why the heck are some countries banning the consumption of our farmed raised salmon?
Well, it seems as though the farm raised salmon don't grow up to be that nice pink salmon color. So they
Yeah,
got to feed them chemicals to make them pink.
yeah. What? So that chemical, astaxanthin. I believe.
Astaxanthin.
Okay.
Ooh.
They say in the little article here, it's a petrochemical.
Hmm. Aren't they
Contains
all?
petrochemical. Well, no, it comes from seaweed, so it's extracted. Now
Oh.
we were talking, we'll talk a little bit later, but in the pre-show and getting beefed up for tonight, we talked about the border and how they're throwing wire down there to block all these people who want to come live in our country. So we looked it up, and it's that concertina wire
Hmm.
that you can get on Amazon. I'm like, quick, you people in Texas, put an order in, get it shipped tomorrow, and get your Constantina wire to protect your house. You can get the well. Guess what? So this astaxanthin stuff,
Hmm.
it, you get it on Amazon. It's a pill, and it's a very healthy supplement. So I'm like the first hunk of food that like Japan and Australia has banned because of this particular pill. And nowhere does it say it's a petrochemical. I don't know. Maybe they have a simulated uh, astaxanthin out
Hmm.
there, but it looks like you can get this just on Amazon. You can get a whole big ass bottle of it, 30 pills for $12.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I like the next one here. The next one, Mountain Dew.
Oh, well,
The
listen. You know what I had at lunch today? I
a
had
large Mountain Dew.
yep. I had this. See, up in New England, we have a lot of folks from Portugal, and they have charisse. It
Hmm.
looks like chorico when you see it in the store if it's
Hmm.
up on the, but it's charisse, and it's they have it in other places. It's chorizo or chorico or something like that that you can get. It's like a Mexican. One's smoked, one isn't. But anyways, I had it and I washed it down. It's processed meat, great for my heart. So I
Hmm.
washed it down with a Mountain Dew. So I am just friggin' doomed after my lunch today. I
Well, I
mean,
mean, it's safe by the American standards,
well,
but not by the European standards, apparently.
evidently it has this brominated vegetable oil, BVO.
BBO.
Uh, and this BVO comes from this compound,
It's
an element found in brominate flame retardants. So
hmm.
they're like, this stuff, and this is you could be a winter commercial. It says, it can build up in the body and potentially
Well,
lead to memory loss as well as skin and nerve problems.
right, but
And yeah,
also you
so,
won't burst into flames.
well,
So
so you think Japan, like leading up to World War II and sneak attacking us and then getting their ass nuked, maybe if they drank a little more Mountain Dew back then, they wouldn't have gone up in blaze of glory like they did when we nuked them twice. I don't know, just
I'm I'm sure they'll take that into consideration next time.
a little more Mountain Dew, a little less sneaking up on our
And,
six.
and then we got look at as we move on this list, Little Debbie Swiss rolls. Now it should be Little Debbie. I'm insulted if Little Debbie can't be eaten anywhere on Earth. But it
Takes me
looks like
back to my sailor days. I knew a girl named Little Debbie Tijuana, and well, that's another story for another time, Casey. This is a popular dessert that we eat here in the United States.
and apparently they put some yellow 5 and red 40, which is not copacetic with the European Union.
The good old European Union. Yeah. Well, you know,
So
it's got adverse effects on children. When I was a kid, we used to get M&Ms, and there was I think it was the red M&Ms at the time. The dye in it was like carcinogenic,
oh god. Just
and
the red ones though. You just gotta avoid the red
it
ones.
was the dye in the red ones. Matter of fact, I think it was what was the chick's name? She's an actress. She was in with uh, doo-doo-doo-doo. I don't know. She goes back in time to the 50s. She was in War of the Roses with who was that knucklehead guy? I can't stand this guy. Let me do the old Google machine. Um, War of the Roses movie, great movie. Doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. Oh, it sends me to Internet Movie Database. Michael Douglas. It had Michael Douglas, and it had Kathleen Turner. That's her name.
Hmm.
So you go to Kathleen Turner and you look her up, just as an aside here, and all the wonderful movies she was in. She was in this one a long time ago, and I'm trying to drag this out. She was in a lot of uh, she was in Nip and Tuck, huh? She had to get her money back. She's not looking that good these days. Um, I don't know. It was a long time. I'll keep on going. But anyway, she was in this old movie about the 50s, and a kid opened up a bag of M&Ms, and she looked down at the kid. She's like, "Yeah, don't eat." Oh, Peggy Sue got married. Yep,
Ah.
1986. She looked at the kid. She goes, "Don't eat the red ones, kid."
Well, it seems like yeah, most of these are due to the certain dyes that they're putting in the food, which can build up in you and cause you to glow green or something. Doritos Light, raspberry Jello. We've got um, Sunkist soda, even Pillsbury biscuits. Come on. I think the moral of the story here is what is actually in our food now that we're.
Huh?
I mean, who looks at that? You can look at the labels all you want, but you
Yeah, well,
can't avoid the dyes.
you can't. Arby's sourdough breakfast bread, croissant, and French toast sticks has a chemical azodicarbonate.
Hmm.
When you see that, you're like, I don't know what that is. Evidently, according to this article and their research, it's a whitening agent for the dough conditioner.
Hmm.
It's like,
So right, because we're solutions oriented. What are the solutions to this?
uh, don't watch YouTube Shorts because they got coffee mate.
Yeah,
It's like it's got trans fats in it. You know.
right.
At the end of the day, everything will kill you, right? I mean, these people feed mice saccharin one time, and these mice were dropping dead after like a couple of weeks of being fed. But they correlated that saccharin's going to kill you if you put it in your coffee or whatever. And there was a big uproar. Come to find out though that the amount of saccharin they were giving these mice, it was like, I mean, you couldn't eat enough saccharin in 3 meals a day you'd have to be taking saccharin suppositories, saccharin drips, saccharin. There was so much It just it's like
Yeah,
I've watched. What's better than a glass of water, right?
right.
There was a DJ had a water drinking contest one morning, one of those shock jocks, and he had people. How many glasses of water can you drink? And some girl drank like 15 glasses of water, and she died. I don't know the exact number, but it was like a pretty significant amount of water, and she died.
Yeah, I think it thins out the mix in your blood. There's not enough salt and nutrients, and your brain just goes haywire.
I, you know, uh, let's see. Let's go to the Google Nader here. How many glasses?
I mean, they even got Gatorade on the list, Pop Tarts,
Yeah,
things that are, again, things that are available in the USA, but mostly it's the European Union. So we'll just stay away from the European Union if we want to have all of our nice treats.
yeah. Let's see. That water intoxication symptoms typically show up in a person. About 3 to 4 liters of water, 12 to 16 cups. Yeah. So so water, right? Innocent
Yeah.
water just sits there. You know, God made it, gave it to us. Fish swim in it. Uh, we drink it. We pee in it. We pollute it. It evaporates. It causes global warming. Uh, and it'll kill you. So any of
Right.
these things, potassium bromate that's in, I don't know, some friggin' food here. It's added to bread dough. That'll kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Tostitos. Oh, Tostitos, a salsa con queso dip. I
Oh,
love that shit, man.
right.
When I was in the Navy and I had this little trailer we called the ranch, and all these guys used to come to my house and get shit faced, and we'd wake up, at 5 in the morning and drive out to the ship to start our day on base. These guys would be taking like a handful of tortilla chips and opening up my queso dip, and that was a quick breakfast to get them, from
Oh God.
hangover to the ship.
Oh
Uh,
God.
and Matlock, Andy, from Mayberry RFD, the sheriff there, Ritz crackers. Nothing sits better unless it sits on a Ritz. I have Ritz crackers today. My wife's like, "Don't eat those. Those things will kill you." They're banned in Switzerland and Austria, Hungary, Iceland, Norway, Denmark.
Hmm.
I'm like,
Well, at
yeah,
least good thing we're not there.
yeah. Well, and that's great. Pillsbury biscuits, that little dough guy you poke in the belly and he giggles. That'll kill you. Yeah, this is like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in Ghostbusters. You can't. That'll kill you. I've never seen the guy, walking down the street, but Doritos Light. That's my favorite one, Casey. You know why? If you got to buy the light version of Doritos,
Yeah,
you're an idiot.
you're in trouble already. It's too late for you.
You're, you're more stupid. You're gonna die of stupidity, not of some kind of It says here from cramping and loose stools. You're a
Okay.
shithead, not a loose stool shitter. Don't buy Doritos Light. When you buy Doritos, you buy it for the MSG and the taste and everything that's in there. You know. So I guess it boils down to what was it? The Greeks and the Romans used to say, and everything in moderation.
Hmm.
All right. You know. Um,
Well, transitioning here, something that's not happening in moderation is we have Title 42, which was the rule. I guess it wasn't really a law; it was a rule that immigrants could be turned away based on their vaccination status or
mhm.
based on medical reasons. And apparently, that's expiring tonight. So there are millions just waiting to come in. We got National Guard on the border. Those border towns are overrun, and then we have some cities who proclaim to be sanctuary cities from immigration laws who are getting upset when the immigrants are sent their way. So I
Yeah.
don't know. As we've said, we're solutions oriented, right? What's the solution here to this situation, this pressing issue?
You know, the solution. Well, let's take a look at some numbers first. Let's do some uh, defining of the issue. here at KC because we're like, you know, COVID's now over, right? Uh, if you didn't get your shots, that's cool. You can go to work now, uh, because we all found out about the untruths of masks and 6 feet and all the COVID shots that we were mandated to get if we wanted to be a good American and work during those few years. And despite the surge of 2.3 million migrant encounters in fiscal year 2022, 2.3 million, right?
Mm,
And and more than 1 million so far this year, right? So let's take that back 2 more years. So in 3 years, say 2.3, we'll just go 2 million for shits and giggles. So that's like a little over six. That's going to be over 6 million people in 3 years
right.
have raided our country. So have you ever heard of a place called Ellis Island?
Of course. Who hasn't?
My grandparents came into Ellis Island.
Yeah.
It opened in 1892. It was
Wow.
a premier federal immigration station, and it operated up until 1954.
No
And it
kidding.
processed just over 12 million immigrants during that time.
Wow. And now we got in 3 years, 6+ million. Interesting.
Yeah. So 12 million in 60 years, 61 years. Uh, Now we're doing 2.3 plus illegal.
Right.
Illegal.
We just want you to sign the book on the way in. You know what I mean? Is that too
What
much to ask?
what kind of statue they're going to put up for this? And you know why they won't? Because we can't afford to build a statue.
Right.
We're $32 trillion in debt at least.
Oof.
There's stuff out there they can't even count. They can't count that high, and they can't count this 2.3 million. I think is a good guess because that's a big ass border, and you can't sit there and count.
Right.
And and I remember, and you know what? This is a strong word, but I hate Hillary Clinton, and she was like when she was trying to run against, I think it was even Obama back then. She was like, "Oh, we'll just use we'll use like artificial intelligence." I think she was one of the first ones to throw that word up out of her sphincter. And it's like, we'll have drones and everything. What are you talking about? None of that stops anyone. You know, you need to have an island. You want to come in, go through an island. Yeah. I like Key West. I've been there. I partied sloppy joes. Make that the island for everyone down south. You got to take a ship, pull into Key West, and then you got to walk that big ass long bridge all the way up through all the other keys. Yeah, you're good at work walking. We've seen you. You're walking through, you know, all of South America, Honduras, through Mexico. Yeah, right. So you know what? So you got to walk the bridge, and you got to get there. And just there's
Hmm.
no more, no more Bud Light drinking. Well, I guess the people aren't gay people aren't drinking Bud Light anymore or any Anheuser Busch products, and which was a good joke back in the
Right.
'90s. Anheuser Busch, fine. Yeah, I
Um,
understand it. And they're just, and even Biden, it seemed somewhat awoke the other day. Was like, it's gonna be a lot of turmoil for a while. It's like, yeah, oh, really? You
you
think?
think?
Uh,
Well, speaking of turmoil, we'll finish with this. The Trumpster was on CNN last night. And the one interesting thing that I found interesting was how they're addressing the Ukraine Russia war. And
mm,
he contends that he'd be able to, cease the violence within one day, 24 hours.
4
Can you
hours.
care to take a guess on what that would entail? You know, I'm just curious.
Well, there was a what's his name? Bill O'Reilly,
Hmm.
an alumni of Fox, was on. He's got a show on the internet now, which like all these people who leave Fox are making like some serious cash on their own
Yeah.
uh, streaming their own uh, whatnot and this, that, and everything. But anyway, he came out a couple months back. I heard him talking, and he says that we got some device. I don't know what it is. But he's got a device. We have a device, and he might have heard this from Trump. Hard to tell. That we know exactly where these presidents of these nations or leaders or whatever they call emperors. I don't know exactly where they are all the time.
Mm.
And so I was like, all right, that's cool. And but to back up what he said, and if he talked to Trump, now when Trump was dealing with the Taliban, he sent a picture of the leader of the Taliban, a note and a picture. And the picture was the dude's house, and he called up. He wanted to talk to the leader, the Taliban out there in Afghanistan and whatnot. And the guy was like, why are you sending me a picture of my house? He goes, well, what do you think? You know?
Look up, pal.
Yeah, in
That's
other
where it's
words,
going to come from.
where you are 4 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365.25. That's Ruby Dog barking on your side. Good girl.
She
Um,
is.
it's he maintains, Bill Riley, that he's heard through somebody through his killing series of books, which are all fun reading books, that we know where these guys are every minute of every day.
Right.
So I think the only thing I can think of is that he'd tell Putin, end it now, or on your way home, open up the convertible and take a look up and see what's coming. That's the only thing I can think of. And
Yeah.
Xi and a couple of these other folks. Uh, you say what you want, but let's just take a look at that little shithead in North Korea has done since Trump has left. I mean, before Trump, he didn't even talk. He wouldn't talk to Obama and his team.
Right.
Trump, because Trump called him up, and it was rude too. He said, "Look at Little Rocket Man, you get, you want to play, you want to dance with the devil, let's dance." And Little Rocket Man says, "I got some nukes." And Trump said to him, "And we got nukes, and ours actually work.
Yeah.
You want to dance? Say the word."
Yeah.
And from that moment on, they got together. Trump even walked through the DMZ from South Korea to North Korea uh, to meet him. I mean, it
Right.
was what
That's
a
crazy.
that's
Can
a
you,
very powerful statement on Trump's part.
can you imagine what the Secret Service was thinking in that moment?
I had a niece that went to visit at one time, and I called her. I said, "Are you crazy? Are you just crazy? That place is a tinderbox. It, at some point, all it's going to take is some one of these Koreans on one of the side for shit to open up and start the war, continue the war because it really hasn't come to an end." I said, "What are you doing here?" "Oh, Uncle Ray." And I'm like, "Oh, Uncle Ray, yeah." You know. So Trump walked across. So I think, Casey, to get back to your point is, I think Trump would actually say, "Look, end it, or you're going to be gone by sundown."
Hmm.
And whatever happens, happens, because the path you're taking now, at least you'll be dead.
Yeah.
If
But
the
whatever
war,
happens after will happen, but you will not be there to see it.
you will not be there to see it, and I can guarantee your comrades and your people will not be walking away with this land now.
Right.
And at the same time, I'm pissed because you know Ukraine is a corrupt area. And how can I come to that conclusion? Because they dealt with the effing Biden family. All right. So you got to realize, all right, once again, it gets down to what I say all the time, Casey. The cabal the Bidens are part of, uh, and I call it the current Democratic Liberal Party, want to end this country, do away with the Constitution, do away with our money system, take everything that people have earned. Look at California. They're going to give every African American up to $1.2 million. Even that shithead governor out there. What's his friggin' name there?
Gavin.
Gavin.
Gav.
Yeah, I call him Bill Clinton Jr.
Yeah.
because he's got this nice straight teeth and stuff. Gavin's like, yeah, he floated it, but he's like, yeah, we can't pay for that.
Right.
Yeah,
But
that's a good idea. You know what? Maybe we'll give you some schools.
yeah.
Now, as far as
Well, here's what we can pay for, Ray. Who is nice enough to bring this YouTube show, Rumble show, podcast to us every week? Who helps out with that? Who's our biggest sponsor?
the good folks, God fearing folks, non Bud Light drinking folks of the Go Do app.
And how do you spell go do?
Go as in Go, do as in DU app. The Go Do app, readily available on the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. And if you
Perfect.
can go to their website, thegodoapp.com. And
Thegodoapp.com.
they got some links right on there for you folks, and you just click it, see what's going on, go to your phone, dial it in, click the link, takes you right there. You don't have to work that hard. Thegodoapp.com, or just go to your favorite Play Store and download. It's a great app, And once again, I'll talk about my favorite aspect of the breweries, man. I just love going to towns, opening up that brewery tab, and seeing where the closest local brewery is, and going and trying some of their beers. What a great thing! I was down in North Carolina a couple weeks ago. I opened it up, and there was like 15 breweries within within 10 minutes. I was like, oh my gosh. Because on the app, Casey, for any restaurants, bar, it's got a little icon at the top. You hit a map, and it tells you where you're at and how to get there. It tells you how long it's going to get if you want to walk.
Almost too easy.
Too easy. And it opens up a new window. Just the Go Do app. Download it. It's a great app.
Perfect. Well, everyone out there, eat healthy. Let's not check out the Go Do app. Go to all the breweries, and we will talk to you next week.
Eat in moderation. Drink maximum. And use our app.
There it is. Until next time.
Cool. Peace out.